So today we're going to do the top 5 ROI features of Aldelo Express. These are the return on investment features. So we're going to do the top 5 and give you some numbers. There are going to be points during the presentation where I'm going to give you the opportunity to do a screenshot. The screenshot will allow you to see the math that I did to come up with this justification so that you can recreate this on your own verbally or in a spreadsheet. So the class we did last week was on cost justification of the labor scheduling. I'm going to use that in there. That is one of the features, but I'm going to expand on it and give you a different view on that. So at this time, get ready to take some screenshots and I'll tell you when that time is. So this is really the easiest way to improve your closing percentage. Whatever your closing percentage is, you can increase it, and in some cases double your sales by just doubling your closing percent. You don't have to pull any more doors. You don't have to actually work harder in order to make this happen. You can work smarter. Don't discount. You don't have, with you doing the cost justification and the return on investment, you will find that you're doing less discounting. We're not after to being the low priced opportunity here. We're trying to give you the solutions to sell more without discounting, without pulling additional doors. What you're going to do is just simply outsell your competition, because what I have found when I'm out selling in the field is that my competition doesn't do what I'm about to show you to do. They just throw out a quote, throw out a price, and if they buy it, they buy it. You don't have to do it that way. You can be a better salesperson, increase your closing percentage without having to do all the extra work. So how do you do it? Well, first off, you're going to do a survey. You're going to find out what the problems and needs of that restaurant are. You're not just doing a statement analysis. In a way, that is a survey. What you're doing here, are you going to ask more questions, more detailed questions? We'll get into the questions here in a minute, but you're going to do a survey. We actually have videos that teach you how to talk to a restaurant, what questions to ask, what conversations to have. And I strongly suggest that you look at Aldelo University and find that video about conversations to have with a restaurant owner. Once you've done the survey, then you're going to provide a solution, not a quote. We don't do quotes. You do solutions. You provide a solution for that restaurant. You'll find that restaurant owners are willing to pay for a solution to their problems. You're going to do an ROI, return on investment. You're going to show them how your system, the Aldelo Express system, can more than pay for itself by implementing some of the features that we have in the software. And all this does is it makes it easier for you to ask for the order. At some point, it's going to be so obvious to the restaurant owner that this is the right solution that your close might be something as simple as, can we do business? It can be that simple. So let's do a survey. Some of the things you're going to need is your monthly or annual income. Monthly works, annual works as well. Monthly is times 12 and annual is divided by 12. Or you can go, what is the average ticket and the number of tickets or guests per day? If you have either of these, we can work with it. You're going to want to know their food and labor cost, bar cost if they're, obviously if they're a bar, but you're going to want to know their food, labor cost, and the bar cost. Hourly wage. In our assumptions, we're going to choose $15 an hour is the hourly, but also include in that hourly any other taxes that they have to pay along with that. Number of employees is key. You'll need that. How many total number of employees do they have? And then the total number of servers at peak times. And you go, well, why do you need that? Well, it's twofold. We'll get into one of the cost justifications later, but you also need to know how many servers at peak times, because that indicates how many terminals you're going to need. In a high volume restaurant, it's 3 servers per 1 terminal. So if they have 9 servers at peak times, they're going to need 3 terminals to ring up on. That's if they have the traditional terminals. If they have handhelds, then they'll need 9 handhelds for those 9 servers. So it's key to know how many servers at peak times for the hardware configuration. Then you're going to know cost of an online ordering platform if they have one. What does it cost them per month? Is it a flat fee? Is it a per order fee? How much do they charge for the credit cards? Find out these things about their ordering platforms if they have one. If they don't have one, then why not? Why aren't they doing this? Because this is a really easy way to grow their business. So kind of coach them and consult with them on using an online platform like Mesa Plus to easily grow their business outside those 4 walls. So let's take it the first one, take a look at it. These are the modules that we're going to talk about that are the ROI modules. Now, these are not by any stretch the only ROI features that we have, but I consider these our top 5. And the first one will be Hostess Reservation module, then the inventory module, labor module, Mesa Plus, and then a feature called Required Beverage. And then at the end, I'm going to throw in some bonus ROI items. They're called hard savings. I'll throw those in at the end. So let's take a look at the Hostess Reservation module and how that becomes an ROI for the restaurant. So it organizes and creates a steady, easy flow for the customers. This moves them through the process of reservations and a wait list. So it does both. This helps smooth out the restaurant's flow of customers, including the table layout. It identifies tables that are coming open so that the server can bring up the next host, or the hostess can bring up the next table for the reservation or to place them and seat them. This gives the opportunity to get ahead of the game by using the table layout and the colors that we have denoting the statuses of those tables. Then we're going to text the customer to bring them to the hostess stand quicker. We don't have to be yelling or calling names. They can be sitting outside, so you don't have to go track them down. You're going to seat them faster using the texting feature of the Aldelo Express Hostess Reservation module. And then reserving tables seats customers faster. If you can reserve a specific table for a reservation, that when that customer gets here, it's an immediate seat, which is what they want. So you're going to increase table seating. You're going to get more people seated faster, and therefore you're going to turn tables sooner. And turning tables in a fine dining restaurant is really the only way you can increase that volume of that table, is to turn it more often. So if you can get one more turn or one more seat table or customer seated at that table, the more volume you're going to get. So that's the key to this hostess reservation system. So if you have an average ticket of $40 and you do one extra table per night, just one, not a whole turn, just one, that's going to bring your average revenue to 40. The food cost at best is probably 35%, which means in the inverse of that is 65% profit, or $26 per day in additional profit. In 30 days, that's $780 in profit, or $9,360 per year. This is where you take a screenshot. This is my math. This is how you do it. So you got the screenshot of this. Okay, I'm moving on. Next up is inventory module. This is where you track and count and counting and monitoring inventory. You do those basic things. You're going to increase your profit or decrease your cost 1 to 2% of the total volume. Now, counting and balancing to an inventory system will assure these savings. Just counting the inventory, not good enough. Counting and balancing to the system, however, does give you the ability to truly improve the performance of the system. And that's where you get the 1 to 2%. Recipes linked to menu items, that is going to be where the sales is the key to the savings. If you can link the recipes to a specific menu item, then you're going to then see that 1 to 2%. Counting alone is not enough. You've got to have the linking in order to identify low profit items, slow profit items. And one I didn't put on here is that that's how you actually find where the theft is, where the case problem is, where people steal cases. Because people really don't steal 1 or 2 steaks. They steal the case of steaks. And that's where it burns the restaurant owner, is through the theft. And counting alone is not good enough. You have to have the sales linked to the menu items to completely control the inventory. So here's how the savings wind up. Take your annual or monthly volume, and in this case, I'm going lowball. I'm only going to do a restaurant that's doing 40,000 a month, 480,000 a year. If we can reduce their food cost by 1%, just 1%, that is an additional $400 a month in profit, or an annual $4,800 in profit. Take your screenshot. This is the screenshot for the math on the inventory module. I hope you got it. And you'll notice I really did choose a low volume restaurant, and I only did 1%. When you start using these kind of numbers, the restaurant owner is going to, in his mind, is going to be kind of laughing at you, like, I can do better than that. My sales volume is higher than that. And 1%, no, it's going to be at least 2. Well, okay, let it be that way. Let them be the ones that estimate higher. You go low, and you'll appreciate that here in a minute. Got the screenshot? Okay, here we go. Next up is labor model. It's more than just clocking in and out. That's the simple thing. Everybody seems to do that. What we're going to do is take it a much further step here. It also has security settings in there in the employee module, so that you can control some of the theft and control some of their access. And one of the features is it exports to payroll. Now, where you're going to find this is a labor savings is that it's much easier now to create payroll and export that to the payroll system. This does save time with regard to checking on clock in, punches in and out. It does have some savings. However, I'm not using those savings in this justification, because labor scheduling is the key. Labor scheduling is when the true ROI comes out. And here's the numbers. Average of $15 an hour. I'm taking that as my number. That is kind of sort of the norm now in the restaurant industry. If they're not at 15, they will be soon. So let's go with $15 an hour. That makes an overtime rate of $22.50. If you can, via the labor schedule, reduce the number of overtime hours down by just 2 hours a week. That's $45 a week. That's $195 a month, or an annual savings of $2,340 just on cutting 2 hours of overtime by doing a labor schedule. All right, this is your screenshot. Take a picture of this. This is the math on that one. This is an easy one. They'll laugh at you. If you can do a labor schedule and make it stick, then 2 hours of savings is nothing. All right, so the next dollar amount, still the same $15 an hour. Can we stop riding the clock by 5 minutes per employee? Now, this is where we do a schedule and we don't let them clock in until it's 5 minutes before their time to clock in, or a certain number of minutes clocking out late. Generally, we do 15 on the clock out late. But if you can stop them from riding the clock by at least just 5 minutes per employee with the labor schedule, and it's just doing the schedule and turning it on the flag, that's it. If you do that for 5 minutes for 12 employees, that's 1 hour or $15 a day. That then turns into $450 a month, for $5,400 annually. You see how this adds up quick? Do your screenshot. This is the money shot for this labor module. All right, next up is Masa App. It reduces or eliminates the third-party online ordering. It's not going to eliminate the DoorDash and the Grubhubs and those things. But what it will do is eliminate the third-party online ordering app for the restaurant. If they have one, they're paying for it. If they don't have one, they need one. And then this is your opportunity to introduce them to the online ordering of Masa. It's used for delivery, curbside, and even in-store ordering. If they want to have the Masa app be available for in-store ordering, it will eliminate the need for a cashier or even a kiosk. But it is used for delivery, curbside, pickups, and in-store. It's proven. We've proven, and we know that every time a restaurant uses Masa Plus, their sales increase. Now, if you go into a restaurant and they don't have their own online ordering for delivery, curbside, and in-store, this is your opportunity to really have an impact on their operation by simply checking a box and having the Masa app available. So let's get back to the ROI. And here you are, same little restaurant, $40,000 a year. If we did a 2% increase by adding Masa, which is relatively easy to do, less their food cost, and I jacked it up to 40%. That gives them an additional profit of $480 a month or $5,760 a year. Back to the restaurant owner. They're going to see this. They're going to laugh at it because it's so low as far as their volume being low and a 2% increase. They're going to say, I'm going to do more than $800 a month. Well, good. I hope you do. But our cost justification is only based on a 2% increase on the $40,000 a month sale. And you can see how $480 a month is additional profit for that restaurant. Now, here's your screenshot. I hope if you've taken the screenshot here, this is how I did my math on this cost justification. The next one is required beverage. This is where the beverages are matched to the number of entrees. So if you have 3 entrees, you have to have 3 beverages. This is requiring that the 2 numbers match. And what happens is servers will not charge for their server prepared drinks, coffees, teas, and sodas. They won't charge for them. And they do that in hopes of getting a better tip. I see this in my dining experiences. I see this at least once a month, if not more. But at least once a month, I see this happen. So it's real. The beverages can be liquor, beers, sodas, waters, and teas. So we track those. We match them one by one. This is a real problem for restaurants. It is not something that should be taken lightly by you. And it's certainly something that they don't take lightly either. Servers are just doing it to look for additional tips. This is pure theft. And this system will control that. And the way I would show it, and the way I do show it, is I just have it set up on my system and I just have it work. I have it pop up the message that says your drinks do not match the number of entrees. I make that happen in my demo to make sure that I let the restaurant owner know just how automated it is. Because once it becomes automated, it becomes what's called a hard savings. Everything I've talked about to now has been what's called a soft savings, which requires some effort upon the part of the restaurant owner to monitor, to set it up, to do the labor scheduling, it requires some effort. Those are called soft savings. This, however, is a hard savings. It is simply a matter of just turning on the flag and the system does the rest. A hard savings is something that you really, really want to see. So let's take what you need. You need the price of the beverages. I'm going to do sodas at $2.50. If the system can stop the server 1 soda per day, And that guys, I'm telling you, if the server's doing one, they're doing them all, because they're doing two when they do my table, right? They're doing myself and my wife. So that's two right there. And if they're doing it at all, they're doing it to all. They're not just doing it once and not doing it again. They're doing it every time. So it's not just one per day. The owner of the restaurant's going to really understand that. And he's going to go, it ain't one per day, it's 10 per day. Okay, but just let it be, in this case, just one. And you got 4 servers doing it. That's $10 a day. That's $300 a month. And that's $3,600 a year. And then the restaurant's mind and that owner's mind, he's going, it's 10 times that problem. And you'll also notice that I did not do any food cost reduction here. And that's because it's theft. And whenever you have theft of a food item, the restaurant suffers not only the loss of the profit, but they also suffer the loss of the product. They had to pay for that product. So it's 100% loss every time that server gives away a drink, soda, coffee, or tea. So there's no reduction for the cost of the product. It's a full 100% loss every time. So let's talk about some bonus items. These are hard savings versus soft. These are going to be hard. There's nothing to do to earn them. Hard saving is just automatic. It happens when you put the system in. That savings is going to accrue for years. It's not going to stop. It's going to be ongoing day after day. Sometimes it's unseen, but it is always valid, always. And the first one to talk about are warranty repairs. Whenever you put the new system in, there's going to be a warranty of some length of time, depending on the hardware, depending on the situation. There's always going to be a warranty, one that can be extended as well. That depends on what you do as a referral partner, as how you do the install. But warranty repairs takes the place of the costly repairs that were happening to their existing system. Those costly repairs can be hundreds of dollars, if not more. So they immediately go under warranty. They no longer have those costly hardware repairs. They're going to enjoy an increased speed of service simply because they got faster hardware. Hardware today is much faster than the hardware that was 4 and 5 years ago. So they're replacing their new hardware. They're replacing the old hardware with new. They're getting warranty and they're getting a faster processor. So they're getting more speed. If they're using handheld tickets or handwritten tickets, then they're going to get the feature benefit of preset pricing. No longer does the cashier or the server get to make up the prices as they go along. And that's another real factor. That's another real situation where if they don't do auditing of their tickets, they'll never know what's being stolen. So if it's a handwritten ticket situation, there is a serious opportunity for recovering of profits through the set pricing of the menus. And then the KDS versus printers, they're faster, they increase speed of service, and they don't have ongoing cost of ownership. So KDS is faster. So these are some of the bonus items that you can talk about. Let's do a wrap up. So first up, the Hostess seating module. That was $780 a month. Inventory was $400 a month. Remember now, these were really low ball numbers. We took the low numbers. Labor module was two features. One was the reduction in overtime. The other one was not allowing the employees to clock in early or ride the clock. Those were $195 and $450 a month each. Then the Masa Plus, by increasing the sales, or what I didn't put in there was the elimination of the third-party online ordering, which could be $100 or more a month. Let's just go with the increased sales on this one at this time. Then there's a required beverage. We took a low ball of 1 drink per day for 4 servers. It's $300 a month. And then I don't know the number on the bonus items. That will be up to you in your survey, but there will be opportunity for additional bonus items if you look for them. So this makes us now $2,600 a month or $31,260 a year, and you're going, wow, is that real? Well, actually, it's probably higher, but we don't want to go crazy on it because the restaurant owner is going to freak out. And we don't want that. So don't go for all 5 of these. Pick the ones that are pertinent to this particular restaurant. Look for those during your survey. If it's not a table service restaurant, you're not going to be able to use the Hostess seating module. Okay. But you will be able to use required beverage and the labor module. Those 2 are pretty easy. What you just pick the ones that are pertinent to that restaurant owner. As you saw on the prior page, any one of these can justify a small system. Any 2 knocks it out of the park. What you want to do then is pick the ones that are pertinent and go back later and add the others onto it. This gives you an opportunity to build that relationship, continue to get your customer wrapped up into the software and letting the software be their financial and security partner in their business. If they're starting off with just the required beverage, great. Go back later and add in labor. Go back later and teach them how to do a labor schedule. That'll get them seeing the benefits there. Then a few months later, go back and add inventory and work with them with that. That's a revenue generator for you, in that you can go back in and charge them to show them how to use inventory and recipes and run those reports to make the system pay for itself. The more of these features that you can get them involved in, makes it much harder for them to remove your system for another. It gets you entrenched in their operation. It makes you a valuable employee, a valuable part of their business. You will do these things, you're going to win more business. If you do the cost justifications and learn how to do these numbers, you will win more business. Your close percentage is going to increase without pulling more doors. You don't have to have more demos or more quotes. What you have to have are more surveys, more presentations of a solution. You start providing solutions and people are going to be willing to pay for that. You will retain more customers because you're getting them more and more involved in the product. So I've only listed 5. There are other features that will also cost justify, but just pick 1 or 2 and you'll be successful. All right, questions?
So Jerry, we don't have really any questions in the chat.
Okay. We don't do, when we have sales related presentations, we seem to have fewer questions. It's when we have the technical presentations, we get a lot of questions. All right, so I'm going to ask some questions and see if it stirs up anything. Did you do the screenshots of the map? And if so, do you feel like you're going to produce a spreadsheet that has these in them? Because if you do, you're going to have your section at the top with your ones that are just filling in the blank, the volume, hourly rate, how many employees, how many servers. You'll have a block at the top of that spreadsheet that has all the information about specifics for that restaurant. And as you do that, the sections below that are going to then create your savings. They'll create the justifications for each one of these. That was how I did it. I had a spreadsheet on my computer that I would show them and play with the numbers. And I did that before I went out. I made sure I had my numbers ready before I went to the presentation of the solution. And it was a solution to them, for them, exactly to their needs and their numbers. And as such, I had a very high closing rate. I did not lose that often because it made it almost ridiculous if they chose somebody else. Another point to bring up is that if you do this, what I just showed you, your competition probably isn't. And as such, when you start doing the justifications, they're going to assume that your system is the one that's going to make those numbers happen. And if the other guy's not even showing it, then it's assumed that they don't have that solution, even though they do. So get used to this. Yeah, it's going to take you a little time to study it, but when you do, you'll be a better closer and you'll do more business without having to work harder. You're going to be working smarter. All right, what other questions? You got, this is your opportunity to ask me questions about cost of justifications, how it's done, how to show it. You can even ask how to set up that feature, and we'll have somebody help you out.
Jerry,
Hey, Jerry,
you did a good job. Oh, there's Brad. Okay.
Yeah, Brad.
Oh, yeah. So, hey, I wanted to add a little bit to your price calculations. I've taken that a little bit further, and if you're taking $2,600 in monthly savings, how many customers does it take to make $2,600?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Right.
It takes a whole lot of them because of the profit. But if you take that, if you ask if the customer's got a 4%, say a 4% profit margin, and they're making $40,000 a month, what is that? $1,600 a month. It's almost a 200%, almost 300% profit margin increase, and that's top level revenue, because they've already paid their hard costs, their rent, their employees, their insurance, their all those other things. This is just extra profit to them. So when I talk to them, and I do this with gift cards, and when I talk to them about putting more money back into their profit center, then they can look at that and I say, this is like bringing you 2,000 new customers to your business without having to buy any food or do any more work. And sometimes it hits home pretty good with them.
You're talking to them
That helps
language and words that they understand. You're relating it to their business. That's what I mean when you're providing a solution. You're not just quoting them a system. I just despise and hate it when I hear people say, well, I did so many quotes this week. No, dude, no, you're not doing quotes. You're supposed to be providing a solution to their problem. Quote, I mean, they can do that. A monkey could do that without any interface on a website. They can get quotes all day long. They're not looking for a quote. They're looking for a solution. They may be asking for a quote, but what they're really wanting is a solution to their problems. What are their problems? You're not going to know that unless you ask, unless you do the survey. It starts with the survey. But Brad, that was good points in that you related it to their operation and in terms that they understand. Now, I hope you understand about the required beverage. That one is huge, and it too is a 100% loss because they are losing the food, the cost of the food, in addition to the loss of the profits. So if it's a $2.50 drink, they're losing $2.50 every time it happens. And that's at least $5 a table when that goes out for me, for my dining. And I just use $2.50, which is obviously it's half of what the loss really is. So set that up in your demo, and then know at some point it's gonna pop up that message and go, oh, and that gives you the opportunity to explain the automated process that stops the theft of the server prepared beverages. All right, if there's nothing else, then Jeff, you have anything you want to bring up?
No, I think you did a great job, and I think this was a great presentation. Thank you, Jerry.
Yeah, did I miss anything?
No, I think you did a great job.
Okay, well. All right, guys, if there's no more questions, then I will see you next Friday. Thanks for attending.
Appreciate it.